Daily Trot. I'm Jason Gilbo, J Gilbo 11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J Clay. Taking a look at a 15-game slate here on DraftKings, and it's heavily weighted towards pitching. Got a lot of great arms up there.
It's a monster.
I just want that awkward pause to be there.
I am so happy you did that awkward pause because that's what we needed. Yeah, we needed that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cubs and Pirates, first one here.
No.
Yeah, it's not a good one to really go after. I mean, Liriano hasn't been great against right-handed bats, but the Cubs' bats are actually priced up like they are facing a bad lefty. I like Bryant's price at more so on DraftKings or more so on FanDuel. 5,500 steep for him. Obviously, he's a guy who can take down a tournament by himself, but I'm not necessarily looking at really either of these teams.
No, yeah, I'm not going for that. Not something I'm looking at. Bryant 5,500. Basically the inverse of what he was on FanDuel, which was like 900 less than Rizzo. So I'm not really targeting either. Bays isn't the value that he was on FD. So I think I'm just taking the night off from the Cubs and obviously taking the night off from the Pirates.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely in agreement. Angels and Orioles next one here. The Orioles bats are priced up more so like they have been, like they have been hitting, 60 home runs a month. So, definitely a little more expensive, but I do think they could definitely get to Schumacher, just given his home run proneness to right-handers.
Yeah, you certainly like the heart of the lineup there, the 3-4-5, but at the same time, with some decent matchups on the slate, that's more of a contrarian sort of stack than anything else. But I do like the upside in terms of home runs there.
Yeah, pricing not as generous as it was on FanDuel with these Orioles. I mean, you had Jones, who was really cheap. 4 or 5 here is a little expensive. I still don't mind them. I do think they're a contrarian stack tonight. I do think that they can pay off as far as one-offs go, just because Schumacher, has pitched relatively well. Then went into Fenway and faced a good offense and kind of came back down to earth a little bit. And you just look at Baltimore and their numbers against righties. They're, a top 3 team.
Right, so, for sure.
Angels, once again, I know Ubaldo Jimenez has been bad. 5-6 for Trouts. How economical is it on this slate?
That's just a lot of cash. That's a lot of the percentage of salary. It is a good matchup, but that is super expensive. So that's more of a contrarian tournament play. That isn't so contrarian to me.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And Cole Calhoun, 4-5. For me, kind of a similar price tag where he's amongst kind of the top options as far as outfielders. A little expensive for my taste. Obviously, it's a great matchup against Jimenez, who's been really bad against lefties this year, and obviously a great ballpark to hit in. He's definitely playable. I think if I'm using one Angels bat, it's probably going to be Calhoun.
Right, yeah, I'm with you.
So, Tigers and Blue Jays here, and obviously these guys are going to be priced up pretty high, just because Pelfrey on the hill. Pelfrey against lefties, 387 WOBA allowed this year. Right-handers, 368. So, once again, here we are 1 through 6 sitting at the Blue Jays with over a 5.5 run total projected, and you can feel comfortable about their upside. But once again, they are expensive.
Jeez. I'm going with the lefties here. I do like Saunders in this matchup. I like Carrera. Obviously, there's the upside with Donaldson and Encarnacion, but I'm not looking to pay $11K for 2 guys, Yeah,
it's not really that doable on the slate. Just given the pitching, I think that's going to take priority for me. And we'll get to some teams here with a little bit better values. So I'm not really looking. Obviously, GPPs, if I'm paying down for pitching, these guys are going to be in my lineups, Donaldson and Encarnacion there.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as the Tigers guys go, hey, Justin Upton, 2,300 on DraftKings. I know he's struggled and had his struggles against lefties this year, but okay, I'm going to take my shots there at 2,300. That's a fine move in GPPs on this slate where you need some salary relief, and it's not like Upton hasn't had his upside games. So for me, hey, I'll attack Hap with Upton all day at that price tag.
Yeah, that's a punt. That's a pure punt at 2,300.
Oh boy, is it Laura?
Laura? No. Come on, Laura. Pick up your game. Um, no, it's Justin Upton at 23. It literally is a pun. I would definitely throw that out there as a value play.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not? I mean, you pay up for Fernandez and another arm, and you slip in a guy hitting six against a lefty that has been good this year, but obviously you look at his track record, more so closer to average.
Yeah, for sure.
So Cameron Maybin, Ian Kinsler, I don't mind those prices. 4-4 is not bad. 4-1's not a bad price tag for Maybin. I'm not jumping all over the Tigers offense, but obviously with a bunch of right-handers against the lefties, they're certainly playable on any given night.
Yeah, any given Sunday, bro. Anything can happen,
Yeah, it's Friday,
just like
so
Al Pacino says.
Rays and Red Sox this next one, man.
I'm just smash.
Did you want to get something in? I just figured you were moving on, given your Al Pacino reference.
We're done there.
Okay. Rays and Red Sox. Chris Archer versus Sean O'Sullivan. Sullivan's definitely got a target, and with some of these price tags, I really do like him. I do like an Evan Longoria at 4-1. That's a nice price tag for him. Forsythe 4-2. Brad Miller, I mean, Jesus, I mean, the power's really come up for this guy, and so has the price tag. I don't hate it. I do think he's still in play, but obviously Fenway's a tough place for lefty power if your guy's not named Ortiz. So, I mean, for me, I think he's a GPP only option. I think the rest of those guys like Forsythe and Longoria are cash game playable.
Yeah, I'm with you. In terms of cash games, it's a little tougher. Again, they're not really giving you much relief in terms of these hitter prices here, but for an over K line or over 4K sort of grouping there, I do like that 1 through 4.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as the Red Sox side of things go, I mean, they're expensive as they usually are. And we talked about Archer. I mean, the strikeout upside is going to be there. And obviously, you got to look at, him possibly giving up a couple homers, which he has done this season. For me, I don't see myself taking a ton of shots as far as this Red Sox team goes. Kind of tough to pick on here. Just given, those prices. I mean, Betts over 5K, Ortiz over 5K on a night with Sale and Fernandez. It's tough for me to pay up for those Sox bats here.
Yeah, definitely agree. I mean, again, I'm okay with Bogarts, just kind of like an FD, but at the same time, it is tough to pay up for those bats.
Yeah, definitely. So I think I'm going to head in a different direction there.
Sure.
Yankees and Indians here, obviously not picking on Corey Kluber, even with those cheap guys there. Indians, I mean, still expensive. This was much like yesterday where they are expensive, accordingly to their matchup. And for me, I mean, they're not quite the same value as FanDuel. I like them a little bit less here. Obviously, it's in a decent spot against an average righty. But I don't see myself using them if they're at the same prices as some of those other teams that we've mentioned.
Chad Green might as well be Tom Green.
You just pop that camera.
That's expensive again. They're not really giving you much relief here. I do like Mike Napoli, 4,100. That's a decent price, and I do like Kipnis Lindor as just plays by themselves. But with price considered, it is going to be a little tougher to fit them in.
Yeah, I think so. And I think kind of heading to this next game, Reds and Marlins, I like the Marlins bats here as far as the prices go. Those are really nice price tags. Obviously, Stanton 4-9 is, deservingly so. But 1 through 4, I mean, those are really nice guys. I'm an odd man out. Prado's not a guy I'm looking at tonight. So Dietrich, Yelich, and Ozuna, all under 4,200. I like quite a bit. And they're definitely playable in all formats for me.
Yeah, in terms of the top 3 in that lineup, that's really what I'm looking at there. Especially Dietrich and Prado. The price differential isn't quite the same, and obviously you're not dealing with as many priced up salaries on FanDuel. So I think that's a nice way to get some salary relief.
Yeah, definitely. I like those calls. And I like Dietrich a little bit more here on DK at that price tag. So I think you can look at the Marlins 1 through 5 as a pretty playable offense tonight. I would not be surprised to see them go off.
Yeah, Ozuna at 4K as well is borderline cash play for me.
Yep, definitely agree with you. Nationals and Mets, these guys are not in play for me at all. Syndergaard, Strasburg on the hill is just kind of an easy stay away situation. We can move on from there.
Yeah, you can tune in and watch that one because that's going to be a fun pitching game. But as far as hitters go, I think you're just avoiding.
Yeah, definitely. Twins and Rangers. Next one here, you got Kyle Gibson versus Cole Hamels. Here, I like a Miguel Sano at 3,900. That's more intriguing to me than the high prices that the Twins were. Obviously, it's a GPP only game, and you just look at Hamels. I mean, 1.29 home runs per nine to right-handers this year. Struggled at home. So for me, Sano's definitely a playable option as far as GPPs go.
Yeah, I like that call. I mean, he's 4K on FD and 3.9 here. So you gotta like that price a lot more. Definitely more comfortable with throwing him in here.
So Laura,
IVC claims.
that's not Laura.
Someone left their backpack somewhere.
Is that what it is?
No, I don't know. That just reminded me of Lost and Found at school.
Yeah, look at the rest of these twin bats here.
Never know what you're gonna find in there. That's for gosh darn sure.
Brian Dozier 4-4. Intriguing GPP option. I'm not quite intrigued with the price tag, but those are the only kind of the two guys that I'm looking at. I can't see myself using Eduardo Nunez, even though he's hit pretty well. So for me, I think the Twins are a GPP team, and I think those are the only three names that do stand out.
Yeah, agreed. I'm not totally on them, but for some of those reduced prices, I like it.
Yeah, definitely. Rangers here. I mean, you got Shin-Soo Choo, 4.8. That's expensive. I mean, obviously, you look at Kyle Gibson. It hasn't been great against lefties this year. 356 WOBA allowed. I don't know. I mean, I like the Rangers bats. I like the predicted total. For me, I like the value guys like Fielder, Odor, Mazar a little bit more than a high-priced Choo.
Yeah, I don't like these prices. Mazara, Beltre, Fielder, pretty much the only guys I'm looking at in this lineup.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think you can look at them and feel pretty comfortable given their value.
Yes, sir.
A's and Astros here, Daniel Mengden versus Colin McHugh. And once again, I mean, these prices, Springer, a little bit cheaper, 4.4, not quite as dropped down as he was over on FanDuel, but definitely still in play. And then you got Carlos Correa, 3.9. Altuve is still expensive, but I think Springer and Correa are still at a decent price tag where I'm definitely going to be looking to use them just given, I mean, the ballpark, I mean, Mengden's small sample size and their track record against right-handers.
Speaking of first name relation, Colin McHugh, Colin Farrell. I watched The Lobster the other night. Don't watch that movie; it's really bad.
I did see that. I didn't see it, but I did see that come out.
It's not good. It's really weird, and the ending just leaves you hanging, and it's just not. Don't do it. It's really weird.
Thank you for saving us all the hour and 20 minutes at the Indie Film Festival that we were all going to go see and watch with.
Yes, sir. In terms of these prices, you definitely like it more on FanDuel for Correa and Springer. I still think Correa is in play. I don't like that price for Springer quite as much, though.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think the guys are on some other price ranges that you like a little bit more. As far as the A side of things go, I like some of those prices. I mean, obviously McHugh, I mean, it just depends on which one you're going to get. But we see McHugh get some relatively blow-up opportunities. I don't know. I mean, you could throw in a Reddick, Valencia, Chris Davis, Vogt type stack there for all under 4K. I don't mind getting a couple pieces of that. Great ballpark. And you look at McHugh, I mean, the lefties this year, 364 WOBA, 1.45 home runs per nine.
Yeah, and as you say that, I think you look at Vogt, Alonso, and Lowry, depending on how the lineup shakes out. So I'm okay with some of those reduced prices. Not paying 4.6 for Coco Crisp.
No, I'm not either. And that's, I'll grab Springer over him if I'm talking leadoff guys in this game.
Yeah, I mean, especially in terms of cereal. I mean, that's way overpriced.
You don't say that, man. Coco Pebbles.
Reese's. Give me Reese's Puffs if I'm paying $20.
No, man. No, the peanut butter and cereal is way overrated.
What?
Yeah, you leave a bowl of cereal and you just feel super thirsty after.
Reese's Puffs probably slightly overrated in terms of the cereal world. I'll give you that, but it's still good.
I don't know, man. I'm choosing a different direction from peanut butter.
Interesting. I'm not even really a cereal guy, but in terms of cereal, I kind of like Special K. Don't tell anyone. The
Oh,
ones with the little chocolate things in them and the fruit.
yeah, that's if cereal was priced, that would be 2,400. That would be like 2,400. No one
Yo,
would even play them.
they planned that demo like in the marketing. They were like, all right, 40-year-old women and Russ. And I'm like, yeah, baby. Give me that Special K. All
Phillies
your
and Rockies.
products.
Oh God, yeah, it is tame to you. You know, definitely, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
these mobs like it. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, exactly. I'll make my way over here. Yeah, it's 2 for 1. A one, what, buy one, get one free. All for me, baby.
Phillies and Rockies next game. John Gray versus Vincent Velasquez. Um, we were talking about this game. I mean, obviously a double-digit total as always in Coors. But I mean, also, I mean, these guys are respectable options as far as GPP guys go, and more so John Gray just taking on a weaker offense. But you know, you got to think Vincent Velasquez. I mean, the Vegas run total is 6.5. You got to kind of. I think it might come more off the bullpen than it does off Velasquez. Um, so for me, I'm not quite sure if I feel comfortable paying up over for Coors instead of paying up as far as pitching goes tonight.
And interestingly, the line went up a half a point over the last hour or so since we did FD. And I mean, if it keeps going on that pace, the over under might be like 20 by the time we get to the first pitch. So I don't think we're buying that today.
Yeah,
Not
I
buying
mean,
it.
I'm looking here and I feel kind of comfortable as far as a stack as I always do against this team. I mean, you know, you just look at them in cores. I mean, obviously their numbers they have that upside, but for me against Velasquez in cash games, I'm paying up for pitching, and I'm definitely going to use other value bats instead of cores.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're kind of not avoiding this matchup, but there's just not a great value set up there, and I just actually like kind of these arms, so probably avoiding in some respect compared to how we feel about most core slates.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm going to put in my share of core stacks. I mean, I'm going to put in a couple. I mean, it's one of those things where you just have to. You know, you go in
Right.
and out, you have to get a shake. Like you just go in, you have to do. Even if you don't want one, you just go in. Okay, I'm here. I got to get one. You know,
It's true. You
so
have your free will is kind of diminished at at that stage, you know?
yeah, definitely. So always playable cores, but I do think you pay up for pitching and kind of go value.
Mm-hmm.
Cardinals and Brewers here. Michael Walker versus Jimmy Nelson. These Cardinals bats, I mean, they're a little expensive for me, like a Diaz at 5-1. It's not really economical on the slate. Same thing with Piscotty. I might take a shot with the Matt Adams given his struggles. I know it's been bad lately. But in that ballpark, I mean, Nelson has struggled against lefties. In this season, things are toned down a little bit. But, you know, looking at his overall sample as far as career-wise against lefties, I like Adams here a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a fair call. You like Greg Garcia as a min price on FD, 3,100. Not really quite as comfortable with that price, but it is still low, and he is a lefty, potentially hitting leadoff. But yeah, Matt Adams is the guy I'm looking at there. That's pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah, I think so. And given the first base options time, I mean, you're either kind of going expensive or you're paying down. And as far as the Brewer side of things go, I don't actually mind some of these guys as far as price. I don't mind a Braun at 4.3. I think it's an intriguing GPP option. Just because, I mean, Michael Walker has been pretty average against righties this year, has had his up and down starts. And you look at Miller Park, pretty friendly for power from both sides of the plate.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a polite no.
Hey. No, I'm not in on the Brewers here.
No, the price is not too good
No.
enough either.
And that's like an overcast, muggy day to me. Yesterday, basically. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
It's understandable. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Jesus.
Yeah. Fine. I will. Yeah.
Braves and White Sox is next one here. And I think this White Sox team, I mean, they're still cheap here. I really like Melky Cabrera at 3.4.
Yeah.
and Adam Eaton at 3.7. Those are two lefties that I like quite a bit. And as you were talking about, the Brady price tag is cheap here as well. And Vegas projected for over 5. I mean, Whistler, I'm looking to do a little bit more damage with the lefties with just giving he's allowed a decent home run rate. And those two guys are going to be cash game guys for me.
I think you just fire away, especially, I mean, if you pay up for a sale, just, I think you can go with at least the 2, 3, 4 in this lineup, and feel pretty comfortable about the rest of your positions there. I mean, obviously you might need one more pure punt or something, but that's some pretty high upside in terms of Vegas totals. And that's something I'm looking to swing away at, even though I don't love the matchup quite as much as I want to, but the prices just make it fit so well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you just look at Whistler. I mean, you look at his overall. I mean, struggles have come against the left side of the plate. Right, he's been a little bit tougher on. So that's kind of why I'm not in love with Abreu here. I'm not in love with Frazier. I think it's just more the lefties that I feel comfortable kind of deploying more so in cash games than the other two.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So obviously you can skip right over those Braves. Mariners and Royals, Hisashi Wakuma, Yordano Ventura. I'm not in love with the Seattle prices, and for me, I know there is some upside against Ventura. Not a fan of the ballpark. Not quite sure they pay out those price tags. I don't see myself using really Seattle one bit here.
Yeah, that's tough. That's $15K for those three. So you're definitely not looking at them. I even as one-offs, it's not too appealing. You're not gonna want to pay up for Seth Smith either. That's yucky, yucky.
No.
So in terms of the Royals, Merrifield, Gordon, I mean, Salvador Perez, I think you can mess around with those guys at these prices. I like these prices more here than I do on FD, especially considering pretty much teams are priced up across the board. So
Yeah,
I kind of like these guys.
yeah. I mean, Hisashi Wakuma again against lefties this year, 374 WOBA allowed, 1.36 home runs per nine, hard ball rate around 35% too. So if there's any night, I mean, frick, man, Alex Gordon, just give me something at that minimum price. I mean, get on base, just do something. I keep tossing shots at him because he's always been so cheap, but I mean, I think on a slate like tonight, with pitching considered, I think he fits in just because of how cheap he is. And as you mentioned, Perez, I don't think that's a bad price tag, and I don't even mind Hosmer at 4.2, given the options as far as first base goes. But damn it, Gordon, give me something.
This is like Justin Turner early in the year where you just throw him in and he just doesn't do anything. And I mean, obviously he turned it around. I think he's going to turn it around, but he's getting a little close to Stanton territory for a while. Remember when we just were not
Giancarlo Stanton?
Yeah, but hear me out. He's just so bad that we just gotta not do it for a little while. Let him knock himself out of it, and then we'll go back to him. But yeah, we're right in that range now.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy who's been struggling. I mean, obviously, always in a great spot hitting leadoff, and you just hope, I mean, he could put together something. You're hoping for a nice little kind of 10 to 13 outing as far as DK points go and save you some cash. I mean, that's why we're kind of really talking him up here. If it was a different slate and there weren't as many top pitching options, you could kind of easy glance over him. But because we're kind of desperate for value, we're giving him another look. At least I am.
Right.
So, Padres and Dodgers is the next one. We differed a little bit here, and I think once again we'll do that the same. You're a fan of Casimir tonight. I'm saying not so fast.
Yeah.
I like Matt Kemp's price tag. I like Solarte's price tag. Will Myers much more expensive here than he is over on FanDuel, but Padres are 6th in the league in WOBA against lefties, and I don't think it's an easy cakewalk for Casimir. So. I like those bats and those prices.
Yeah, well, maybe you should think about this a little harder because it's fairly clear that Scott Kazmir is going to go for 25 DK points tonight.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, once again, we're going to revisit the situation. So for me, I like the Padres' right-handed bats here. I mean, Kazner hasn't really been unbeatable. He's had some good starts, but I'm just dwindling my down to Kemp and Solarte just because they're under 4K.
Yeah, no, I do like those guys. That's pretty reasonable for this slate. So I'd be okay to fire away with those guys in tournaments, but at the same time, I do like Casimir
Yeah.
tonight.
Dodgers, I mean, you and I mean, we kind of narrowed it down to Justin Turner and Corey Seager. I mean, I still love Justin Turner's price tag here. Corey Seager, much more expensive here than compared to FanDuel. But overall, I mean, I definitely think Turner is the play here. He's my favorite third baseman on the slate. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, gotta like that price, and I think even a Chase Utley is in play with his price 3,700. Seager's kind of a bummer at 46, but I still like him. I still think you can fit a pretty reasonable stack in there.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, some of these other guys are cheap. I mean, Adrian Gonzalez have been off of for quite some time now. It feels not really looking at him at 3.7. So I do think top three is just kind of where you're taking a look at.
Yeah, for sure.
So Giants and Diamondbacks. Jake Lamb much more expensive here than he is over on FanDuel, 5,300, and Goldschmidt's a little bit cheaper here than he is over on FanDuel. So for me, uh, I'm not really picking on the Arizona Bats. I'm not really looking at them. Obviously, a Goldschmidt at 4,400 is going to be somewhat intriguing just because Samar's has been up and down this season. So I do think you can take a shot on him in a tournament, but overall, it's kind of a stay away situation.
He's much more in play here than on FD, but at the same time, I'm not really targeting him. I don't think it's a Goldschmidt E night with matchup considered and how big the slate is. So that's an avoid there. And for the Giants here, I mean, Buster Posey just really that price tag just completely knocks him out of play for me.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, obviously, you have a back end there of Mac Williamson, Grant Green, Ruben Tejada, some right-handers that could be in the lineup. Obviously, they're all punt plays, and you look at Corbin, 346 WOBA this season. The righties 1.49 home runs per nine, 38% hard ball rate. If you need a punt play, I mean, they're out there for the Giants. I mean, just because of how banged up they are. So if you need to fit in that extra big bat and you need to punt down somewhere else, I don't hate that move tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's going to wrap things up here with the DK Daily Trot. Be sure to check out dailyfantasycafe.com for our great tools and content.